Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Astrological Intentions. I am your host, Alex Reevy, along with the tie-dye teamster herself, Sandy Reevy. Say hi.
Hi. Wow, man. Cool.
And it is November 16th here in the Evanston Sanctuary, and it is episode 121. Let's get right into it. In the transits, we have Tuesday, November 17th, Mercury opposing Uranus.
Big news. Have you adopted yet?
Thursday, November 19th, Sun sextile Saturn.
Staying within the lines.
Same day, Venus square Saturn.
Best for solo work.
Friday, November 20th, Mercury out of the shadow.
See Jane run.
Saturday, November 21st, Venus ingress Scorpio.
She's in detriment here.
And same day, Sun ingresses Sagittarius.
High Hope Mountain. Happy birthday, Sagittarius.
And in Talisman time, Sandy has finished up 2 talismans. The first, Wednesday, November 11th, to heal illness. And Thursday, November 12th, to be known as an artist in my circle. Then one very special upcoming Saturday, November 21st, to follow my heart. Then on the horizon, we have a very special Orbit of the Week offer for you all that you won't want to miss, as well as many virtual events, especially today's virtual trunk show. So stay tuned. And in our house, Sandy and I are going to read from our friend Stan Crosslands' autobiography, just Unplug and Go, a great snippet about the Balinese trip that we all took together. So stay tuned for this episode of Astrological Intentions.
Here, where the night is totally clear, and your heart is fierce, and so you finally know you control where you go.
Hello, tie-dye teamster. It's like you're a superhero.
I rearranged my closet to, things that I would wear outdoors to things that I would wear indoors that are cute. I'd still wear them outside. And this is one of them I always wear. It's either my robe on retreat or it's my, one of my goddess outfits. So, yeah, it's this
and it's all tie-dye. It's like blue, purples, greens, yellows.
Gown with, it's like a robe. Yeah.
Kind of, but really long, really pretty.
No, it's one of my favorites.
So,
okay.
I want to go direct to everybody first and say, oh my gosh, I've been noticing that there's a lot more Apple podcast reviews piling in. So thank you so much.
Thanks.
Keep those coming. We love those.
Yeah. And thank you for supporting small businesses. My heart is filled and grateful, and we'll talk about the gratitude bead that's back. But thank you for paying attention to us through the sky, through your life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
anyway,
it's important.
I want to hear the going direct.
Yes. So this is a 5-star review called My Path is Confirmed. I feel understood. Throughout my life, I've felt like an outsider. Not that I'm odd, just that I think differently than many others. Now I can trust that thinking outside the box is the way that I'm meant to think. And that's from C. Sauras from Canada.
Mm-hmm. I was wondering who that was. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it is. And so maybe it was like a Mercury out of the box, maybe Aquarius, Mercury and Aquarius.
Well, I did a reading for her.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a lot of different
just a need
pieces
to
of
be
a
that
puzzle.
person.
Yeah.
To challenge the status
where
quo.
Her ascendant was, what was on her midheaven, what was conjoined her sun, where her sun was. Yeah, it was a bunch of stuff, but really cool. Well, thank you. I see you, or I intuit you.
Yes. So in the transits, let's move on. Tuesday, November 17th, which is tomorrow if you're listening to this podcast on time, Mercury opposing Uranus.
This happens at 2:07 a.m., so it's crack arse early in the morning. Big news. Have you adapted or adopted, right? Mm-hmm. Have you gotten through yet? this is the third and final time that Mercury will oppose the planet Uranus of, messages, Mercury, opposition coming at a stress, little conflict to Uranus of sudden, unexpected.
Yeah, it's
oh,
that
wow.
180 degree.
Right? Yeah, it's like, oh, wow. So the first time we had this was Wednesday, October 7th. And that was the first of 3 passes when I titled it Nervous and Scattered. Well, that was the vice presidential debate. And then the second pass we got in the retrograde cycle was October 19th. And I called that Patience. I'm redirecting you. Please hold. Right? I was kind of doing the analogy throughout this Mercury-Uranus period of like,
there's a big hole.
It's like patience. Oh my gosh. How many times have we been on a phone where we have been going from that department to that part and then getting cut off, right? We can just never get our message out.
Or to find the solution.
Yeah.
To find the answer.
So here, Tuesday the 17th is that date that it's the final. So I believe that we're going to hear some big news, and have we adapted into what has been occurring over that October-November period. And now that, when I looked at this earlier this week to, add any final comments that's happening, I always do that, right in advance, a year in advance, and then
check it out.
and pencil in, like, here we are in the now, what is going on?
Right.
And this may be when we see a concession speech.
Interesting.
And you know what? This is at 2:07 a.m. It could very well be very interesting that maybe it's in the middle of the night.
No one hears it.
Right? Kind of where you can just like say it and you go back to bed.
Maybe it's a
and then everything happens while you're sleeping, right? I don't know. I'm making that part up. But
left on the presidential pillow.
Where it's not like a press conference kind of thing, where everyone is prepped and news people are there and ready to go. So I don't know. We'll see. But again, big news. Have you adapted to the new?
So Thursday, November 19th, Sun sextile Saturn.
This happens at 1:18 a.m. Here we go with an early gig, staying within the lines. It's like walking the straight and narrow. Saturn wants us to do what's right. And Saturn will limit our moves by keeping us on a detour or, within the lines. So this is really good because Sun is sextiling. So a sextile gives you opportunity, but you have to keep moving.
Yeah, you have to take advantage of it.
Right. And it's good for directed focus. So, here we come Thursday. It's like we've got our blinders to the sides of like the horses do at the Kentucky Derby. And we know where our future lies. We know what the plan is. And whether this is the election, whether this is the COVID, it really is taking on, hey, folks, let's get limited here. Let's stay within the lines. Right? Walk the straight and narrow. Right? So stay in the rules. Exactly.
Yeah. And
go on. The same day.
Again, November 19th, Venus squares Saturn.
So this is at 5:29 a.m. And this is best for solo work, being on your own, because you might feel lonely during this time. Venus is the planet of connections and relationships in her own sign of Libra. And she's finishing up this, her being in her home sign because she's at late degrees. And she's squaring, which is stress and conflict, like a gritty where the grinding of the gears, needs a little oil, but you don't got no oil, right? To Saturn. And Saturn's very strong in Capricorn. And he's obviously has to be at the last few degrees of his sign because they're squaring each other. So this is this feeling of feeling lonely, and this is low energy. You know, you may even plan to work from your bed. Now, you probably already work from your couch.
Yeah.
This might be a day, and
do.
it's a Thursday, where it's like, I'm just going to stay right here in bed and bring me my computer and let me get to work. Because you won't have a lot of get up and go. Certainly, you will not want to take orders from anyone. But let's think about that. If you don't want to take orders from anyone or direction or, right, because it's an opposition from your loved ones. It's like, oh, honey, you should get out of bed, or honey, you should do this, or honey, you should do that. Honeydew, right?
Yeah. It's a little bit more combative.
That you don't want to take orders, but therefore don't dish them out either. Because this transit is for everyone. Mm-hmm. This is not a natal reading that I'm doing. Somebody has a Saturn, has Sun square their natal Saturn. That would be specifically for them. But this is going on in the mundane world. So be really cognizant.
Schedule your day yourself.
Right. That's why it's best for solo work. Mm-hmm. You know, not, you know, you talk about delegation, right? Like how you have
I'm delegation challenged.
So that's kind of that day is happening.
My queen's throne. I can just do all the things that I want to do and not have to worry about anyone else.
Just don't dish out orders.
Perfect. I got that. So Friday, November 20th, Mercury is out of the shadow.
See, Jane, run. It's like clear as first grade reading book as we were learning to read. That's how clear that this Mercury coming out of its shadow in Scorpio really should be. Like your lenses are cleared. It's finishing his travel of delivering a message. Now it's far enough away from the sun to see, speak, and hear. So when I'm writing see, speak, hear, I immediately think of see, Jane, run.
Right.
Right.
It is very clear. Very
pointed.
So,
yeah. And, you know, we've been waiting for Mercury to come out of his shadow. So again, this week is about messages being clear coming out of, and particularly in Scorpio, where things are held privately or secretively. So, you know, this is a big week to find out information.
The clarity week. And so Saturday we have two transits. The first is Venus ingress Scorpio.
7:22 a.m. and she's in Detriment, which I grabbed this from one of the books, many books I have, Charles Obert. He describes from his book, I quote, detriment is divided against itself, working on a task where it doesn't really want to succeed. The planet is at odds with itself and its environment. Taken from his book.
So when I think about Venus in Scorpio, it's kind of like more of like a witchy sense, because the knowledge, the depth, the feeling and the power is all there. And that's that kind of like deep, dark, witchy image that you can have with that. But then again, doesn't necessarily show like a whole lot of femininity at the same time. So that's, you know, I think where the detriment is like that more gothic Venus dress.
Because also detriment is, well, the other meaning of detriment is the opposite of where the planet is in its rulership. So if you think that she's in her rulership in Taurus, right? Venus rules two signs, Venus and Libra. Opposite of Taurus is Scorpio.
So then Venus actually has two detriments since she has two rulerships?
Yeah.
So in my natal chart, I have Venus in Aries, which is in detriment.
Is in detriment. You have it conjunct Jupiter.
Yes. So I have
in
really
the 12th
big
house.
Detriment.
In the 12th house that is hidden. So people, when they meet you, they don't really see all of your qualities until they get to know you, until you decide you want to show them. That's one reason I push you. Because as soon as you get pushed out of the closet,
into the spotlight.
Well, not even out of the closet, not even into the spotlight, but I make you.
It feels like the spotlight.
Well, for you, because you came out of the dark, and all of a sudden you're showing like you can play guitar, you can play ukulele, you can sing, you've done recordings, you've done like all like your artwork, you have a talent that you keep hidden, and so I push that out for you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
And here it is. You're pushing it out on the podcast.
So that stays there from now, Saturday the 21st of November through December of September. Excuse me. Oh la la.
It stays in there from November 21st
till December 16th. And then moves into the next sign, which is Sagittarius, where she has no debility or dignity. But it's a really big shift for her. She's coming from her castle of Libra, right? Because Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, that's into her detriment. So it's like she
was
falls.
outcast from her own castle.
She gets to the cliff and down she goes.
And I think that like a lot of people can resonate too with that feeling of, when you're in that castle and you're in your rulership and you feel like $1 million, it doesn't necessarily need to mean that it's happening literally, but that feeling of kind of being ripped away from that confidence and that authority into, at first, it seems like a very meaningless value. But the cool thing about Scorpio is that Scorpio goes down deep to find what is true and what is real. And, even though you had the authority and courage and vibrato in Libra of being like a people person and everyone wanting to know who you are and talk to you, going to Scorpio, it is about more being by yourself, but finding what is true and valuable about yourself by going deep through the tears, through the anger, through the muck, and that feeling of unworthiness.
I mean, let's get back. Let's just read that again. The definition, Charles Obert writes that when Venus is in detriment, she is divided against herself, working on a task where she doesn't really want to succeed. The planet is at odds with itself and its environment. So it is adjusting.
Right. A big adjustment. It's like a falling from grace. It's this like...
But not really. But in this like mythology or the technical wording, it's like, who really are you? Oh, you think you're the queen that gets to live in the castle? Oh, who are you?
Right.
Because it's meaningful. It's meaningful that Venus rules Libra and then the next sign is Scorpio. Mm-hmm. We have to do the work.
Yeah. And two, what the Libra sign is, and if anyone's, seen the Libra sign, it's also this scales. But what was interesting is when I was reading and, discussing more about the symbol, it's actually the sunrise at the same, or the sunset, right? At the same time. And this sunset is, beautiful, and that's a big time when people come together. But after the sun sets, that's when the Scorpio kind of comes into play. It gets dark. And it's like that adjustment of like, oh, the sun just went down. Okay, we got to get used to this.
I don't know where I'm going.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Anyway, kind of that shift. So we're going to be paying attention to that.
Yes. So let's move into Talisman times.
Well, we have... Oh, did we say happy birthday?
Oh, no, we didn't. Of course we have to say happy birthday. So Sun, Ingress, Sagittarius. This we are calling High Hope Mountain and happy birthday, Sagittarii.
This happens at 2:40 p.m. Central. And this is just right. I wrote, I hope. Right? High Hope Mountain. I hope. Which makes me want to sing... Hi ho, hi ho, hi ho.
High hope.
High hope, high hope. I hope, but it we go. And when the sun moves into Sagittarius, it gets immediately into its triplicity rulership. So this is a nice day.
Right. And even in that, it's Snow White and the dwarfs, the seven dwarfs. So when those seven dwarfs are going off to work, they're also being in song, which is a very, very Sagittarian way of going to work. A lot of people are kind of more in the Scorponic sense of like, I have to go to work. Oh no. But the Sagittarian energy of like, oh, I get to go to work. You know?
Yeah, let me get my tools. I'll see you later. Bye, Snow White. Have dinner for me.
Right.
Okay, a little patronizing, but but this will help the Venus, right? Going into Scorpio, because Venus is following the sun right now. Mm-hmm. So this is a hopeful time where you get real.
I'm excited for Sagittarius.
Which
season.
is why, because of this, I have chosen this particular orbit that will talk more.
Orbit of the week.
Orbit of the week. I'm going to start doing. I got the really big download last week, and I'm like, Alex, put this together. How can we do this? And I'm going to have an orbit of the week that I'm going to do a little Instagram post and Facebook post every Monday morning introducing that week's orbit of the week. Yeah. And we'll talk more about that when we get to on the horizon. But this week's is called I Am Hopeful.
Yes.
Okay.
So let's move into talisman times. You have finished up 2 talismans. The first, Wednesday, November 11th, to heal illness. And again, this is, a very special one. We love these.
I made one. And I overcome this present condition and constructively move to attain my goal of well-being and all things healthy. This was when the moon, I'm really into lunar mansions. You've heard me talk about that. There's 28 of them that go when the moon's in that particular mansion that the moon also has nice aspects to. It's an awesome time to make a talisman based on that lunar mansion's energy. And it's about 12 degrees and, 50 minutes. And so it's not easy to figure out because you have to keep going 12 plus 50, 12 plus 50, 12 plus 50, all the way around. That's why we have 28 of them. And this is the 14th one that heals sick, regains health, revives love, and is goal oriented. What's the word? Gains goals.
Reaches goals?
Reach goals.
Yeah.
That's it. Okay.
The wordsmith today.
Yeah.
Well, interesting. So there is this book that I've been listening to on audiobooks, and it's about how to really build habits. And it reminds me a lot about talismans, because what this person was talking about, there was this case study of a huge steel company that was kind of dangerous for the workers. There would be someone's arm got chopped off, and they would just kind of attribute it to, oh, it's the steel industry, it's dangerous. Mm-hmm. And so they weren't doing all that great financially. They bring in this new CEO that is now going to revamp the entire company. And this is a worldwide steel company. And because he had this knowledge of how kind of the brain works, and he wanted to get the managers and the employees all on the same side. So if he had said something like quality, the workers would be left out. And if he said something like, fair hours, the managers would be left out or kind of upset. Mm-hmm. So what he did is he found a middle ground of safety.
This gave me chills. I want to cry.
Focusing on that one, it kind of seemingly is like a meaningless thing when it comes to business, because it's well, that's just,
of course,
a sunk cost. Sorry about your arm. But this
That's why we have
CEO came in here,
insurance.
everyone thought he was crazy. The stocks plummeted. Everything like went haywire. There were people wanting to be like, I'm out of here. This is ridiculous. This hippie CEO that just came in wants to talk about like, you know, safety and kumbaya. So what my point is that he had this knowledge that there's these keystones that our human brains can really attribute to that changes the course of the rest of our lives. Kind of similar to like they focused on safety in this worldwide community. It created for them to be the top steel industry and 0 injuries even outside, say like driving.
Mm-hmm. Or in their sports, their outdoor,
0 when they were at like, you know, 20,000. They went down to 0 injuries. And so the morale of the entire company exploded, the stocks exploded. And it was just about this one thing that they focused on. And so that got me thinking about, you know, the talismans that we make. It's really about focusing on one part of our life that we don't think is going to affect anything else in our, because if we're focusing on our health, we're like, well, it's going to cost money and I'm not going to make money. And I would rather be saving rather than spending. These are the things that are important when we can really focus our mind and elevate the value of what that keystone is what they call it. That's where real change can happen. And so long story for just...
Well, it's true. If you focus on your heart, if you focus on your brain, if you focus on your finger, like everything is connected.
And you're in extreme awareness. So I just thought it was great. And one quick mention too about this story is that one of the managers that was, you know, put into place underneath the CEO was the safety manager. And there's a story about him being so zealous about safety and it being the absolute number one priority that he was driving with his 2 kids in the car. He was out of work, you know, off of work, but he saw some construction workers that weren't wearing their helmets or there was just something unsafe about what they were doing. So he pulled over to get out of the car to give them a safety lecture of how important it is. And it was a competing company or it was like, you know, not anything to do with him, but it's because those moments that he's still being authentic. And it's not just, okay, 9 to 5, I'm safety manager. He was really developing this persona of this is who I am. And I believe that safety is so important. So
love that audio.
Yeah. So,
thank you for sharing. That should have been in our house.
Well, it fit in right here in Talisman time. So Thursday, November 12th is your other talisman, to be known as an artist in my circle.
I radiate my private and creative visions through artistic ventures. My art gets attention. I am honored. This is a really cool one because the moon is conjoining Venus and squaring Jupiter, all in a boom, boom, boom kind of period. So this is, it's already up on the website. It's green and purple, my 2 favorite colors.
Pretty.
But this is about bringing up what you feel, you know, like I radiate my private visions. Ooh, right? Things that you might keep hidden.
Right.
That come up because the sun is in Scorpio here.
And I also like your affirmation too, because it's very cyclical, you know, because you go from this is what I'm doing. I'm initiating this venture. And then also it's about, you know, people see what I'm doing and I'm honored. So it's that like gratitude cycle that's happening. So once you get back to I am honored, let's start again. Let's get back into this venture and keep going and keep this wheel moving.
And that's how you start in your circle, right? Because that's how you build. In my view, you build circles. And then they just expand. And then they bubble into other bubbles. Yeah. It's how I built my first business. Very successful.
And so upcoming talisman, Saturday, November 21st. And I like this one a lot. To follow my heart.
My love is my path. I look forward to finding you along my way. You and you and you. Whoever or whatever that is. It makes me want to cry.
That is so open, so loving. It's like an outpouring of love that's kind of this never-ending waterfall.
This is a very rare one because the moon just moved into Pisces at 0 degrees, 0 minutes. In a square to the sun at 0 Sagittarius, 18 minutes. And at the same time, moon is trining Venus at 0 degrees Scorpio, 45 minutes, right on the angle. So, wow.
And we can tell you're excited about this when you were even tearing up.
Listen, to follow my heart. Wow, what does that path look
from
at?
The logical minds that we all try to have.
Right? My love is my path. That's the one I'm choosing.
Yeah.
I look forward to finding you along my way.
Not only like
I look
you,
forward to
AKA the one.
Right. It's like I'm open and I'm aware to finding you on my way. And it's you, whoever or whatever that is. Mm-hmm. So it could be a who, it could be a that, it could be a thing. But I follow my heart.
And what I like about this one too, which is kind of similar to my talisman, there is no destination. There is no end point where you say, okay, well, this is done. Mm-hmm. I like these talismans because it's about walking that path and keep walking that path. You know,
it's true. That's interesting. You should say that because, I have a whole shelf of talismans.
I was going to say something else. I have a whole
shelf.
Yeah.
Of talismans I've made for me personally, or ones that I've connected with when I was in the making of it. I'm like, universe is saying this is for me. Okay, I'm taking it. And so in the morning when I get to my talisman wearing, I brush my teeth, I get my makeup on, minimal makeup on.
Yeah.
I put my castor oil on. Oh my God, we got to talk about that.
Well, next week.
Okay. And then I'm dressed and I'm leaving my bedroom and I go over to my talisman shelf and it's like, what is calling me today? And I have several that, like you said, are forever lasting. They're follow-throughs, and some that are specific in nature. Mm-hmm. And recently I have been wearing my follow-throughs, like, keeping a positive attitude. Mm-hmm. The one I always wear, particularly during my study and my reading days, is the one that's about linear and nonlinear connections where they come together. The things you already know and the things you don't come together, and let it come in at a quick pace so that I can choose to use it in the moment or not to use it in the moment.
Right.
I wear that every day.
Physical and the metaphysical coming together.
Yeah, I wear that every day that I'm either doing my studies, my homework, or my readings.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. That's probably why I get these downloads, because I'm asking for them.
Oh, yeah. And you're open to them.
Anyway, I love this talisman. This is
that one
Saturday
too.
night at 10:06 p.m.
Maybe it's mine. Who knows? So on the horizon, we have a lot of events that are coming up, but 3 very special that I want to talk about up here right at the top. The first is today is the virtual trunk show. So you still have time if you're listening to this podcast on Monday.
Before 5:30 p.m.
Central Time. So if you jump onto our website, you can even just search virtual trunk show or raffle ticket. It's going to bring you to the page where you can purchase raffle tickets, because we're raffling off an universal intention bracelet of your choice. Mm-hmm. So this is really cool, very unheard of for us. And what you can do is you buy in $10 increments. And when you purchase a raffle ticket, I send you for, let's just say you bought, I don't know, 20 raffle tickets. It's $200. I send you a $200 gift certificate.
To use on the website.
It's
on products.
It's like a win-win.
On products.
If you know that you're going to be buying a talisman either for the holidays or gifts, or you just know that you're going to want to support small businesses like ours, this is an amazing opportunity, because when you put that money, put that money where
down.
Your mouth is, then we send you that gift certificate that you can use, and you get into that raffle. So I think it's a no-brainer. Personally, it's like a win-win-win for all of us. And, it's good for the soul. These are talismans.
It's good for all of us. I like what you just said. We are a small business. If in talismans right now are the tangible, holding, powerful object that can help you lead you in a way that you want to go, particularly after this year. Mm-hmm. So, which is, if I follow right into orbit time, is it time to go there? Or did you want to say more about
let's just wrap up with the virtual trunk show. So, again, it's happening today. If you buy raffle tickets
tonight at 5:30.
It won't be recorded, so you can join us live to talk about the talismans and maybe ask Sandy some questions if you're wondering about a few of them. And
I'll go over my favorite. I'll show you the picture. I'll show you the actual piece.
Right.
Alex, we did this once before in the summer, and it went so well. We're going to probably end up doing maybe
a couple
twice a year. But we wanted to get it in before the holidays so that you can get your gift certificates and the chance to win a free universal intention bracelet.
So, of course, the link is on there, but quick ways, go to intentionbeads.com and search raffle ticket. You'll find it. Okay, so second major thing that we need to talk about is the orbit of the week. So this is a new thing that we're going to be launching until the end of the year. And we discussed this a little bit before in the podcast. And this is where Sandy's going to be picking an orbit that's just perfect for the week.
For that week's energy.
Correct.
Yeah. Which is why the first one, I am hopeful.
Yes.
Because we're moving into the sun in Sagittarius, which is High Hope Mountain.
Yes. And what better way to really be attuned with these energies to also have a talisman that's completely attuned to it as well. And cool about the orbit of the week, you're going to get a discount. $5 off, which basically covers shipping. And
which, let's just clarify that. That we wanted to give free shipping, right? Because we usually don't discount our stuff.
However, I can't just give free shipping on one item. That's a little limitation that we have with our website. So we're giving $5, which is actually above the normal.
It's like repaying you back for the shipping that you'll have to pay.
Right.
So we're literally covering the shipping.
Yes.
We felt that was a nice token without really discounting the talisman piece, but paying for your shipping.
Right.
Offsetting that. Okay.
Yes.
That makes it clear.
Yes. So the orbit of the week, you can find that in the link in the description, or just head over to intentionbeads.com and search orbit of the week.
Or watch for my Instagram or Facebook post.
Yes. Do that too.
So how do they get on Instagram? Intention_beads.
Intention_beads. I'm just going to double check that's right, because I feel like
I thought we got rid of the underscore.
Oh, I think we might have.
I think we did. Gosh.
Yep, we did.
Yeah.
That's how terrible I am at social media. But yes, we're Intention Beads on Facebook and on Instagram.
And every Monday, I'll show you the piece. I'll describe it. I'll describe the energy of it and why this would be good for you to wear this week and weeks beyond.
Yes. Then my third super important announcement is that our gratitude charms, and if you've been, an intention bead fan or client for a while, you've seen these before. How many years ago?
Some years. Okay.
These are now back in stock. There were a lot of people asking kind of like where they went because we sold out of all of them. And what you all don't know, but because you listen to the podcast, you get to hear all the insider details, is that I hand print every single one of the cards for the packaging. And I also score them. And I also, fasten all of it together, which it just turned into a big task. And that's why it kind of trickled out.
That for that reason, and the fact that I use the Jupiter, Venus, Moon aspects, and so we weren't the Jupiter's not been in a happy sign for at least a year, and so watching, I have to make them at a certain time, and so that time is even more limited. But here's the real reason. Can I tell them?
Sure.
I started to clean my upstairs office, and there's this cabinet that I have a bunch of my canes and cores and all my instruments for my cane making. And way in the back, there's this box, and I reach and I open the box. I'm like, what is this? And in it were
all my marketing materials for the gratitude beads.
And gratitude beads already made. And they were tucked in the back that I had forgotten about. So now there's just a limited number of them.
So symbolic at the same time. There's so many things that are stuck in the back of a drawer that we take for granted, that are constantly around us, but we never pull them out of the drawer to have the gratitude.
And so I was like, Alex, surprise, look.
It's perfect.
And so we immediately took a new picture, put them on. And again, those are also very limited. So go check to the website for those.
Yes. Okay, so now we're going back into our normal rhythm of On the Horizon. So November 18th, that's this Wednesday, we have our community check-in. Again, this event. It's free. It's open forum. We just come together on Zoom, and we really started this because of all of the quarantining that was going on worldwide. Mm-hmm. And we wanted an outlet for people, especially if they were like living alone or didn't have many people to talk to or really engage with. And
like me.
Yeah. We did it for you. And then we opened up the whole platform.
And you.
Yeah. So we'd love for you to join. You can share how you're feeling, what's going on. I have some question prompts for everybody, and it's just about talking and listening, seeing how people are and where they're at in their journey, and really supporting together.
It's coming up.
Then November 27th, we have our Black Friday sale. So if you want to be the first to know about this, make sure to get on our mailing list. You can do that at intentionbeads.com if you scroll all the way down and hit that subscribe button. Otherwise, that link is here in the description. November 28th, the next day, we have our December forecast. This is on Facebook Live with Sandy and Susan. So you get Sandy as well as Susan, the financial astrologer, who come together and really just compare and contrast each of their astrology calendars that they write. And seeing whose favorite day is which, and also, getting a good idea of what is going on up there and how does it make any difference for us.
For December.
Then December 9th, we have the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction webinar. This is a webinar that Sandy and Susan host, and we're kind of planning on renaming this one because it is going to be the most important webinar of the year of 2020, because what's happening is we're shifting into a new global paradigm. And so that's going to be the new name, the new global paradigm of this. It's a 200 plus transit that we're about to get into.
It's all transit. The Jupiter Saturn is starting to move into conjoin in air signs and at 0 degrees of Aquarius. And that's like December 19th, 20th, 21st, that time frame. And then Jupiter, of course, is way faster than Saturn. So Jupiter will move away, but they will join up in air signs for like the next 220 something years. So the last time that they've met up, the last 200 and something years have been in earth signs. So that's why we're in the earth industrial era.
And we're moving into an air. Of earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're moving into an air. It's what you know. It's your IP. So this is really important. Where is it in your chart? We take a look. We do slides. It's best to be live for this. If you're not, you'll get the recording. But and you can buy it later. But be in on the cutting edge, and it's about cutting edge.
Completely. So also, along with this same transit, we are also hosting a talisman making webinar. And if you've never joined us in a talisman making webinar, you are missing out a little bit, because what is so cool, and this is totally unique to only these talismans, or if you're on a retreat with us, but you are there and present with Sandy on that virtual platform while she's making your talisman. And you get to say in that moment during the creation, what your affirmation is. So it's like literally professing these things at that sacred moment, similar to a personal intention bracelet, but you're actually not connected, virtually with Sandy. So you have the screen, you're talking, you're really engaged in what's going on.
We'll do a slideshow and talk about what it means.
Similar to the CWS that happens, the week prior, but this is going to be way more in depth.
Well, this will be probably a 2-hour event, where then I get into the charts, and I do your personal charting. So I look to see where the Jupiter Saturn is in your chart. I send it to you in advance, some notes, so that you have a little preparation prior to getting on the Zoom, this private link Zoom call. And then when it's time to give your affirmation, you say it out loud while I'm rolling your bead. Now, we have a really, really cool idea. We had to sit on this for a while, which is why we're kind of a little late announcing this. But it's going to be a necklace.
Yeah, it's going to be so cool.
It's a new style necklace that we have designed, and we're not quite ready to take pictures of it. We haven't really nailed it down exactly, but it's going to be a sterling silver necklace with one bead on it.
And, of course, it'll be beautiful. So
pictures of that coming soon. Prices coming soon.
So get on our email list, and you'll be the first
And I think we're going to do 2 days.
December 19th and December 20th.
Yeah, December 19th is I'm going to guess around 11 a.m. And the Sunday is more like 9 a.m.
Okay, so stay tuned.
I always give 2 opportunities to come aboard.
Okay, so moving into our house. So we wanted to take this time to honor a friend who's passed away, and the anniversary of his death was just this past week. And it is a hard time to let go of somebody, but really truly it's better just to keep hold of their memory and what they've taught you.
True.
And
can I just say, can I do another little intro? We met Stan 4, 5, 6 years ago here in Chicago. He lived in Evanston. Mm-hmm. And we just connected. And we called him Stan, the yoga pants man, because at the time he was selling yoga pants. He was in a transition at that time for moving around the world and to unplug and go. And so he had this idea that if he just unplugged and goed, which is the title of his book, How Traveling the World Saved One Man's Soul.
And so what I was about to say is that we're so lucky, too, is that he left us a legacy in book form for us to remember him. And I think, you know, not only is this book just full of really wonderful experiences and life lessons.
He's a great writer.
He is a great writer. So,
and let me so now Alex and I are heading to Bali.
And he's already on his world tour.
He's on his world tour. We somehow connect. He goes, when will you be in Bali? And we gave him the dates. And he said, I am going to plan on being there and visiting you while I'm in that part of the world. And so we did, and we made it arrangements, when to meet, where we would be, where our Airbnb would be, and we got him a room in our Airbnb. And so here we are in Bali, meeting up with Stan on his world tour, with everything he owned on his back.
And this is the second time we were in Bali, right? So we had a little bit of experience. We knew kind of where we wanted to stay. And I was in charge of, you know,
all the Airbnbs. Which we had like 5 or 6 of them because we stayed there so long.
To stay within our certain budget, a number of bedrooms, air conditioning for some rooms versus others. It was a lot. It was a lot of work. But I'm really grateful that he gave me a shout out in this book, in this one chapter.
You're going to read it.
Yes, I'm going to read it. So it says, leaving nature natural. While in Ubud, my friend Alex scored us the best Airbnb place ever. The resort was amazing, gorgeous, pristine, preserved, serene, and peaceful. Above all else, it was natural. The grounds of this resort were the most beautiful I've ever seen. In the middle of a jungle, overlooking terraced rice paddies with an attention to architectural and natural purity. Enormous trees everywhere. Fantastic foliage all around. Flowers blooming in nooks and crannies. Paths that meander past statues, shrines, and solitary spaces. Fountains, small waterfalls, baskets filled with offerings, and incense wafting in the air at all times. Pools built on the ledge of the hill, bathtubs built to the side of the hill overlooking the river, massage rooms next to the river with open windows, and lounge chairs on every level of the 8-story encampment. Astounding! I had the pleasure of sitting with the owner for dinner one night. He's a martial artist master. Lovely man. He has lived in the property for over 35 years. For 25 of those years, he had the entire place all to himself, plus extended family members. I asked him with a smile, "You couldn't keep it to yourself anymore, could you? You had to share this beauty with the world, right?" "Yes," he replied. "Not fair to be so selfish. My father would disapprove. He trained me to give with love." It took him 8 years to build the place. An architectural and engineering nightmare, self-imposed nonetheless. A feat beyond maddening, I imagine. Why is that? It's because they did not destroy one single tree. The directive to all involved was to preserve every bit of natural setting possible. By his estimate, it added over 4 years and $2 million to the project. And well worth the effort, I say. He offered everything must remain as God intended it. Blessed beyond measure, awed to the point of silence, we were stunned as to our good fortune. I love it when I come across people who take the long road, overcoming maddening difficulty, huge expenses, and endless grief, losing all kinds of valuable time in the process, just to ensure the right thing is done. People who say to themselves, this place of majesty will stay so. I will preserve all the inherent goodness already in existence here, and I will openly share this place of beauty with the world. Makes me happy to know people like him exist. Makes me think Mother Earth might still believe in us too. Makes me realize not all people and places have a price. This is a very good thing to know these days. Despite what you read and hear seemingly all the time, not everybody has a price.
Thank you, Stan.
Yeah.
I miss you.
Yeah. And so it's a beautiful, beautiful book and story, and maybe we'll have story time more. Because
you're in another of his chapters. I think I'm mentioned once in one line, but you're mentioned in another chapter.
He and I had many adventures in Bali, because he's like, oh, I'm going to go river rafting. Want to go? I'm like, yeah, of course. Let's do it.
Here's me. No, I'll stay home. That's why I'm not in that chapter.
So anyway.
Thank you, Stan, for everything you taught people around the world. When he got married a couple years ago, people from around the world showed up in this little part of California called Julian, California, which you fly into San Diego and drive an hour and a half in the hills. Mm-hmm. So many people from around the world attended. He's just met and touched so many people.
Yes.
Always with a good laugh and a smile and a hello. How are you and what are you about?
Yes. So shout out to Stan if you're listening, and thank you all of our listeners. We love you all. We send so many good vibes in healthy ways in this crazy time, but we will talk to you next week. So make sure to sign up for our virtual event as well as the ones upcoming, and we will see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
The
Bye.
sun shines here.